Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. WIBTA If I contacted the wife of the man my mother is cheating on my father with and telling her what is happening. Clearly, this is going to be a challenging one. Simply put, I just found, after seeing something I shouldn't have, and after more inquiry, that my mother is having an affair with another man who lives a few states away from where I reside. I looked him up on the internet and learned that he is married and has 2 children. My mother and father have been married for 20 years, and I am the only child they have raised together. The reason for this is because my father, who loves that woman and has sacrificed everything to care for her and me and ensure that we have a lovely life, which we have, but we would be nothing if it weren't for him, does not deserve to devote so much energy in a love that has been abandoned. Afterward, I'm going to sit her down and question her about what's going on. If she tells me the truth, I'll inform my father personally, but if she gives me truth, I'll offer her the option of telling my father herself. In contrast to that, this individual, who, based on what I saw in their contacts, has no trouble manipulating both his family and mine, represents half of what is threatening to pull my family apart. It is my belief that he does not deserve my mother-in-law to go through what my father is going through without them knowing, and I believe it is the right thing to do to inform her of what is going on. Provide what evidence I have Life 360 location screenshots, my mother's Life 360 location permissions, turned off coinciding with the days she claims she is going out with a friend or working late, screenshots of their WhatsApp conversations, etc., and tell him that he does not deserve her and her children should be fully informed about what is going on and who their father is at all times. Thank you, WIBTA, for reaching out to her. Extra information: I am their only son, 18 years old, and a first-generation college student who has recently completed their first semester. I saw my mother texting this man in the car and investigated further, asking to change songs when I was actually reading their conversations. I'm not proud of it, but I would do it a million times over for my father. From what I saw, this woman has no idea what is going on and believes their marriage is going well. Here are a few samples from their chat to illustrate the nature of it. Baby, getting married to you. That's the dream, my mother says. He's wonderful to me and everything. But it's not enough for me, my mother says of my father. I'm going to assume that man's wife has a chance because she believes she does. We won't be seeing each other until at least the middle of next year. Story 2. AITA for not helping my sister and husband pay for their IVF treatment using my inheritance despite having no immediate use for it. My sister, Ella, and I are both 25 female, therefore we're a pair of 25 female, 31 female. The names of my spouse and her husband are Tom and John, respectively. Ella is a woman, and our parents are devout Christians. As a result, when she brought home a high school girlfriend, they ejected her from the house. When our mother passed away, she was left with nothing. We had both lost contact with our parents, but I decided to accept the money since it was the one good thing that had come out of our terrible circumstances, and why not take advantage of it? The legal components of the transaction were concluded around 1 week ago. The 2 Ellas and John came to see me while Tom was at work and informed me that they wanted to talk about something important with me. They said that they had used up all of their fertility funds and that they did not have enough money to try it once again. Knowing where this was going, I just said, I know where this is going. Ella, please accept my apologies, I understand. To be honest, I was thinking about it too, and Tom concurs that it is the right thing to do. Because you deserve it, you should get half of the money awarded to you. Those were not the topics they wanted to discuss, according to John, but they did insist on receiving the whole sum of money. Surprised, to say the least. Apparently, half isn't going to cut it. I inform them that I'm going to put half of my part, or, if she doesn't want half, the whole amount, into my daughter's college fund and the other half toward anything she wants during her adolescence. They seem surprised. I tell Ella that my husband and I have always made a pledge to each other that our children will be financially secure since we didn't have that security when we were younger. College is quite expensive where I live, so despite the fact that my daughter is just 3 years old, Tom and I decided to start her on this path as soon as possible. Ella is enraged at this time, and John is much more enraged by this point as well. John, on the other hand, is more likely to participate in conversation. I'm shoving my parenting in her face, she says as she comes from the kitchen with a laugh. I'm upset at this point because I believed she cared for my child as if she were her own, and I was wrong. Ella complained that I was undermining her and that I owed her for looking after me when we were children. I disagreed. Ella deserved it all, according to John, since she had bigger obstacles than I had, despite the fact that our parents mistreated me on a regular basis. I just wasn't prepared to fight. My infant demanded my whole attention, and I need Tom's presence due to Ella's aggressive behavior. I asked him to go and then dialed Tom's phone number. We discussed it again and came to the conclusion that we would not be giving them the money. Ella calls, and I answer the phone. She informs me that she will have to try again and that her relationship with her husband is strained as a result of their disappointment in not being able to have a child. I informed her that I couldn't pay her the whole sum of money, and then I hung up. I'm feeling down about things right now, but I'm not sure whether I should share my feelings or not. Perhaps I should have given her the money instead, because I don't have an immediate need for it. Ada? Update. Hello and welcome. Please accept my apologies for the lateness of this update. It has been about a month. While I was preoccupied with other matters, I thought I'd write this now that I have some spare time since many of you have shown an interest in receiving an update on the situation. I got a great deal of helpful advice and realized that I wasn't the jerk that everyone thought I was. Thank you very much for your assistance. I was overwhelmed by the sense of comfort I had. I didn't call Ella or John as I had planned since I knew I had nothing to apologize for and didn't see the point in doing so. However, a few days later, John came over to my house, alone, and expressed his regret for what Ella had said. When John questioned me about the money again, I realized I had made a mistake in expecting they would stop there. They were still under the impression that they had received the whole cash. Thanks to Tom's presence, I didn't have to deal with this for the second time, and the two of them had a good laugh about it. Finally, John threatened to sue and other such rubbish came out of his mouth. Ella began posting the most terrible things on Facebook, and it was embarrassing to have to defend her actions in front of my peers. I just felt driven to end our relationship. They were being combative and generally unkind to my family at the time. Ella was notified that I no longer want to connect with her, and she was barred from any future communication with me. Ella, on the other hand, returned with John and demanded that half of the money be given back to her. Tom and I spoke about it and came to the conclusion that we would not offer them anything, despite the fact that we showed it to them. Even after the occurrence, all they did was laugh at us. We'll put it to good use for the benefit of our daughter in the future. So, I realize this is a depressing update, but I had so many messages yesterday wanting one that I decided to write one anyway. I hope you like it. According to our attorney, they were unable to do anything legally and would most likely not try to do so, since they lack the necessary funds. To elaborate on a few aspects, consider the following. Some people remarked on how cheap IVF is, but Ella chose a particular clinic that was incredibly affordable. Because it was their second time completing the cycle, they opted for a more expensive option, for which I am unsure of the reason, which is why they needed more than their half of the budget. That is, at least what they claimed. We had a difficult childhood, but we inherited a substantial sum of money since our parents were affluent. They just did not spend any of their money on us. There are many people who feel that creating a teen fund for my daughter would pamper her, but the money will not be used for anything she could want for pleasure. We merely intended to set up an emergency fund for her to use until she reaches the age of 18 in the event of an unexpected emergency, or if she wants a vehicle, or for traveling, or for other non-college related expenses.